Your name appeared in a police file, and what they discovered will leave you speechless. Archangel Michael says, there is a revelation unfolding right now that you never expected to hear. The moment your name was typed into a system, it connected with a file you never created, and yet it holds information that has the power to shake your present reality. This is not ordinary, this is a divine interception to warn you before events begin to spiral. Tonight, the atmosphere around you is charged, not with peace, but with a pressing weight of hidden movements in the unseen. Someone has been preparing something connected to your name, and it has reached places you thought were untouchable. The file marked with your identity has surfaced, and within it are details that should not belong to you. This is why you have been feeling restless, why unusual signs have been surrounding you, and why your spirit has been unsettled. Heaven is revealing this to you not to cause fear, but to empower you to act in wisdom, strength, and clarity. The truth must be unveiled, because silence right now would allow the enemy to advance further. The discovery inside that file is more than mere paper, it is a web of stories, accusations, and hidden movements that were designed to taint your character. It was never meant for your eyes, but heaven is breaking the seal so you can see the truth behind it. Archangel Michael is standing near, drawing back the curtain over the deception. The whispers about your name have not been ordinary conversations, they were recorded, stored, and now placed under scrutiny. What you thought was a moment of misunderstanding has been twisted into a narrative that does not reflect your true self. This is why the heavens are intervening, because truth must rise above deception. The people connected to this plot are not strangers, they carry familiar faces, familiar tones, and familiar masks. Yet what they are doing in secrecy is darker than their outward appearance. They smile in front of you, but their signatures exist in documents that carry weight behind locked doors. The file with your name was not written overnight, it has been quietly building, piece by piece, while you carried on with your days unaware. But the hour has come for it to be revealed, because heaven will not allow you to walk into traps blindfolded. Archangel Michael has sounded the alarm so you can be prepared for the path ahead. Even the officers handling that file are beginning to question why your name is there. They see contradictions, they notice inconsistencies, and something about the story doesn't add up. That's because divine light is already piercing through the lies planted in that document. The weight of accusation tries to move silently, but heaven never allows a child of destiny to be buried in silence. What was done in the dark will not remain hidden, it is being dragged into the open for you to confront with courage. This is the unfolding moment where you realize that you are not just a name, they fear the power behind your calling. That file was not created randomly, it was orchestrated. Someone spoke, someone signed, and someone gave access to details that should never have been connected to you. But the greater truth is this, their plan is already collapsing under the weight of its own falsehood. The pressure you've been feeling is connected to this silent war. It is not just spiritual, but also earthly, what happens in hidden offices and under dim lights. But remember, the greatest records that matter are the ones heaven keeps, and your destiny is already sealed with divine authority. This is the time to be vigilant, to keep your spirit alert, and to lean into the guidance that heaven is giving you. For the enemy thought they could hide their plot in earthly files, but they did not anticipate that Archangel Michael would step forward to declare the truth. Type Amen 888 and receive the blessing of protection against every earthly and spiritual record forged against you. Now the file has caught attention, not just in the realm of men, but in the realm of heaven. The angels are moving, shifting, and uncovering names of those responsible for dragging yours into this matter. One by one, their hands are being revealed, and their footprints are no longer invisible. The noise you've been hearing in your spirit is not confusion, it is a warning bell. It is the call of heaven to awaken, to understand, and to prepare for the shift that is already happening. They thought they had time, but the divine interruption is faster than their scheme. Someone close to you is trembling because they know what is inside that file. They fear that once it is opened completely, their role will not stay hidden. And heaven is saying, it will not stay hidden, because the truth is breaking through the walls. The pressure on your name is not the end, it is the beginning of a larger movement where your vindication will come in public sight. What was meant to humiliate will turn into evidence of how divinely you were preserved. The file with your name is not resting quietly on a desk, it is moving from one office to another. Each transfer leaves a trail of eyes scanning through the words written inside, and every glance carries an opinion. Yet none of them truly know you, none of them understand the spirit you carry, and that is why heaven has stepped in. The system has marked your identity, but the Spirit of truth has marked you first. Before any paper or screen could attempt to define you, heaven had already written your destiny in eternal records that cannot be erased. That is why this moment is not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Even as they attempt to pull your name into a shadowed corner, you are being elevated into light. The very act of dragging your name into their system has triggered divine justice. Archangel Michael is stirring in the background, preparing to release sudden shifts that no man will control. This is why delays have happened, why doors seem to pause, why situations felt locked, because the exposure of this file had to happen first. If it had been revealed later, the damage would have been greater. But heaven chose this exact hour for your eyes to open. Type Amen 2020 to receive the blessing of perfect timing and divine alignment. Now the file is raising questions even among those who wanted to believe it. The officers reading it cannot ignore the gaps in the story, and the uncertainty is spreading. What was intended to be a perfect trap is already showing cracks. There is someone inside that building, someone reviewing the file, who feels uneasy about it. They cannot put words to it, but their spirit knows that something is wrong. That person is about to become an instrument for your protection. You may not see their face, you may never meet them, but heaven is stirring them to speak up. Their words will matter, because their voice holds credibility in the place where the file rests. And once they speak, the weight of their testimony will begin to shatter the plans against you. This is why the enemy is restless right now. They sense they are losing grip, and the more they try to add details, the more contradictions appear. Their strategy is collapsing under the force of truth. Type Amen 515 to activate the blessing of voices rising in your defense. Still, the enemy has not stopped. They are racing, trying to adjust, trying to create more layers to confuse the matter. But no matter how they build, the foundation is cracked, and heaven has declared it will not stand. The power of accusation is strong in the earth, but the power of divine light is stronger. Every false word carries weight only until truth appears, and now truth is stepping into the center of the stage. This is why you must stay calm, because the unraveling has already begun. Imagine the moment when a mask falls in front of everyone watching. That is what is happening to those who pushed your name into the system. Their disguise of confidence is melting, and their fear is beginning to show. Even as they gather to discuss their next move, heaven is scattering their thoughts. Their unity is breaking, their agreement is weakening, and their motives are being exposed one by one. Type Amen 999 to claim the blessing of confusion over your enemy's plans. Your name is not a random collection of letters, it is an identity, a calling, a sign written over you by heaven. That is why attempts to misuse it will never succeed. They may push it into false files, but they cannot erase the divine seal upon it. You are being carried through this storm not by human strength, but by divine orchestration. While others plan in hidden corners, you are being shielded by a covering that no human eye can break. The very presence of Archangel Michael near you is proof that this is bigger than ordinary trouble. The file itself will become evidence, not against you, but against those who created it. Their words will return to them, their signatures will become chains around their own hands. What was set as a weapon for you will turn into a mirror of their deceit. And when this happens, your name will not just be cleared, it will shine brighter than before. People will see that you walked through accusation and came out untouched, marked only by divine preservation. Type Amen 1212 to release the blessing of transformation, where every trap becomes testimony. The silence around your name is about to be broken. What was once whispered in low tones is now making its way into open discussions, but not in the way the enemy intended. Instead of spreading lies, it is drawing attention to the holes in their story. Every false line written about you is now under the scrutiny of light. The file itself is beginning to betray the very people who assembled it. Their rushed attempts to fill it with details are turning into contradictions that expose their weakness. Archangel Michael says, "The file may have your name, but it does not hold your truth." Your destiny is not written on paper inside an earthly building, it is written in the higher courts of heaven where no falsehood can prevail. That is why you are being preserved. What they thought would ruin you is already turning against them. The harder they try to twist the narrative, the more their own fingerprints are visible on every page. They cannot escape the consequence of what they wrote. Type Amen 4444 to seal the blessing of reversal over every false report. Someone has begun to ask a dangerous question in the presence of those handling the file: why does this not add up? That simple question is unraveling the carefully designed lies. What was supposed to look flawless is falling apart. The whispers in the room are shifting from certainty to doubt. Doubt is the seed that heaven planted, and now it is spreading into every corner of the process. They cannot suppress it, no matter how much they try. Even the one who first pushed your name into this matter is beginning to panic. They feel the walls closing in, and they know time is running short. Their face will not be able to hide their fear much longer. The people who once believed them will turn away when the cracks become undeniable. Their power will slip, their control will weaken, and what they built will collapse before their eyes. You will stand as the one preserved. Type Amen 1010 to receive the blessing of hidden truth surfacing in your favor. The presence of angels is moving around you right now. The atmosphere is being stirred, not with chaos for you, but with disruption for those who targeted you. Heaven is aligning events so the truth cannot be ignored. The very building where your name sits in a file is being touched by divine intervention. Meetings are shifting, voices are speaking, and delays are occurring that were never expected. This is not coincidence, it is divine timing at work. You may not hear the conversations, but they are happening. You may not see the documents being passed back and forth, but the flow is changing. Where your name was once considered a target, now it is being seen as a puzzle that does not fit their claims. Every new attempt to fix their story is backfiring. Every addition makes the lies harder to believe. They thought they were weaving a net, but it is falling apart in their own hands. Type Amen 13:13 to awaken the blessing of divine disruption against all false works. Do not fear the process, because the longer this file exists, the stronger your vindication will be. What they meant for harm is already preparing to showcase how unshakable your spirit is. You are being positioned not just for clearing, but for elevation. The enemy thought your downfall would happen in silence. But heaven has declared your vindication will happen in sight of many. The very mouths that spoke against you will be silenced when the truth comes out. Archangel Michael says, "Do not look at the shadows, they are fading. Instead, look at the light that is breaking into this situation. The revelation of truth will not be stopped. Your name will not be remembered in connection with this false file. Instead, it will be remembered as the one who overcame attempts of destruction. And those who tried to bury you will face the weight of their own deception." Type Amen 27:27 to call forth the blessing of public vindication and divine remembrance. The hour of unveiling is closer than you realize. The file that once seemed like a weapon is now a burden to those who created it. Each page they forged is becoming evidence against them, and they are powerless to stop it. The police who once looked at your name with suspicion are now turning their focus to the inconsistencies within the story. They cannot ignore the gaps, the contradictions, and the unnatural patterns in the report. Heaven has shifted their eyes from you to the ones responsible. The whispers of judgment that were directed at you are being reversed. The pressure that once fell on your shoulders is now pressing against the hands of those who conspired against you. They are beginning to feel the weight of their own words. And this is only the beginning, because the deeper they dig, the more their own names will surface in places they never expected. They thought they could hide behind your identity, but the mask is falling quickly. Their exposure is inevitable. Type Amen 18:18 to claim the blessing of reversal against every hidden plot. The file itself is not ordinary, it carries signatures, testimonies, and movements that will soon be traced back to their origin. Each detail points toward the guilty, and heaven is ensuring nothing remains concealed. Justice is threading through the very lines of those documents. Do not fear the timeline, for every delay has been strategic. What seemed like wasted time has only allowed the truth to gather more strength. The longer they try to hide, the more undeniable the exposure will be. Someone within the system is already preparing to step forward. They may not speak loudly, but their role will be enough to turn the tide. Their insight will pierce the fog surrounding your name. When their voice rises, the entire process will shift, because one spark of truth is enough to ignite the fire of revelation. That fire cannot be extinguished, not by fear, not by deception, not by authority. It will burn until all falsehood is gone. Type Amen 23:23 to ignite the blessing of truth, breaking every silence. The enemy underestimated how deeply protected you are. They thought documents could rewrite your story, but your true record was written in a place far above their reach. Their pen is powerless against what heaven has already declared. Your journey through this storm is not a defeat, it is an unveiling of strength. You are not walking through this alone, for angelic forces surround you, shifting atmospheres and bending outcomes. The unseen is moving in your favor. Already, whispers in the spiritual realm are shaking the confidence of those who worked against you. Their boldness is crumbling, their courage is dissolving, and their unity is breaking apart. Heaven has declared that their agreement will not stand. The more they resist, the faster they unravel. What they built carefully in secret will be dismantled openly. Their shame will mirror the same weight they tried to place upon you. Type Amen 56:56 to unlock the blessing of protection and angelic intervention. When this storm clears, your name will not only be free but elevated. Those who doubted you will be silenced, and those who accused you will be exposed. Your strength will shine in ways it never did before. The file that once threatened your peace will become a testimony. A testimony that you were preserved, guarded, and carried by divine orchestration when all odds seemed against you. This will not destroy you, it will establish you. Archangel Michael says, the final outcome will not leave you broken. Instead, it will leave you standing taller, brighter, and stronger than before. What was once a plot against you will be the very platform of your vindication. Even now, the winds are shifting in your direction. The sound of your victory is approaching, and soon it will be undeniable. Heaven has written your triumph long before this file was ever created. Type Amen 33:33 to seal the blessing of victory and elevation over your life. So remain steady, for the time is nearer than you think. The days of whispers and shadows are ending. The dawn of truth is rising with unstoppable light. Every page that carried lies will soon be turned against its writers. Every line that held accusation will point back to its source. You will be free, and they will be revealed. This is the divine exchange taking place right now. Your name is being cleared, and theirs is being uncovered. Heaven has declared it, and nothing can reverse it. This is the moment where light overcomes darkness. Stand strong, because your vindication will not be hidden. It will be seen, spoken, and remembered. And your story will shine as proof that divine justice always prevails. Type Amen 77:77 to walk in the blessing of everlasting freedom and divine remembrance. The officers who handled the file began to notice unusual movements surrounding your identity. It was as though someone was deliberately trying to plant confusion, leading investigators toward you while covering their own tracks. This was not random chance, it was a calculated plot woven with patience and skill. The energy around your name grew heavier, and you may have felt it without even realizing. Sleepless nights, sudden bursts of anxiety, or that lingering sensation that someone was speaking about you in secret rooms, it was all connected. What was unfolding behind the scenes was not merely paperwork, but a strategy aimed at cornering you. Those who conspired believed you would never discover their hidden hand. They imagined that once your name was stained, you would not have the strength to rise. But what they did not expect was the intervention of heaven, and the fact that the truth is already beginning to spill through cracks they cannot control. The file itself became a mirror, reflecting not only lies but also exposing the hidden intentions of hearts. Every word written about you now carries weight, and the one who placed it there cannot erase their fingerprints of guilt. Their plan is unraveling in slow motion, but for you, this is the signal to prepare. Type Amen to get blessing 4747. Someone you once trusted may be closer to this scheme than you think. Their silence, their carefully chosen words, and even their sudden distance may not be a coincidence. The moment your name appeared in that file, it became a magnet that drew out true intentions from people around you. Each day that passes without you knowing the full story is a day your enemies believe they still have control. They whisper, they plot, and they write, but the higher forces are watching every detail unfold. And now, you are being given this warning so you will not be blindsided when the storm reaches its peak. The truth will not only come out but will arrive in a way that shocks even you. Imagine expecting a small ripple but instead seeing a tidal wave that washes everything away. That is how powerful this exposure will be, and once it breaks, no man will be able to cover it again. It is not only your name at stake, it is your destiny, your future, your reputation, and the path heaven has set before you. That is why this warning is not meant to create fear but to awaken your readiness. Every shadow that has followed you will soon be forced into the light. Type Amen to get blessing 3939. The ones who thought they could manipulate the system underestimated the divine order. Their secret meetings, their late-night messages, and their false testimonies have already been seen. What they set in motion with dark intent is about to return to them with force. Do not allow fear to nest in your heart when you hear whispers of what was written. Fear is the seed they want planted inside you, so you abandon hope and surrender to defeat. But you are not alone, and that is the very reason this message found you now. Even the authorities involved are beginning to sense inconsistencies. Questions are forming in their minds about who truly benefits from dragging your name into the mud. And once those questions grow stronger, the chain that binds your identity to this case will begin to break. The people who used your name believe their secrets are still buried. They do not yet realize that the ground they buried them in is cracking open. Everything they thought they had hidden will rise in full view. Type Amen to get blessing 2227. What is unfolding now will test your strength. It will test your patience and your ability to hold your head high even as shadows surround you. But every test is a doorway, and on the other side of it lies the reward of divine justice. The time for exposure is closer than they think. Already, movements have begun, and words have been spoken that cannot be taken back. Each step forward pushes the hidden truth closer to being revealed. In the days ahead, signs will make themselves known. Unusual calls, unexpected messages, or sudden confrontations will point you to the truth. These are not coincidences, but indicators that the veil is lifting. The file with your name is no longer just a paper in some office, it has become a battlefield between lies and truth. And soon, the victor will be revealed for all to see. Type Amen to get blessing 5151.